Today is a Zelda day. Let me just say that. We have a ton of Zelda news, Zelda leaks, and rumors today. And sorry for no uploads over the last week. I've just been very busy with life, I guess. But we're hopping back on it. And what better way to hop back into the news with some Zelda information. So, with that being said, make sure to subscribe, turn on the post notifications, hype up the video if you don't mind to help me reach my goal of 10,000 subscribers. Let's hop right into it. So first off, let's start off with the Ocarina of Time rumors. So in the new Attack the Backlog podcast and Nash Weedle, Nash came back to the potential remake of a Zelda Ocarina of Time remake on the Switch 2 by bringing in a ton of details, a remake built from the complete ground up, which we have known about. So that basically means it's not going to be a remaster. Like, it won't just be kind of a port or just a simple remaster. It is going to be overall apparently the storyline of Ocarina of Time that we know, but I'm sure they will add extra dialogue or extra storylines or side quests or whatever it may be. And they're also going to apparently add some new features as well. I believe we do actually have real patents of that, which is wild. I think that's awesome. That is like the best thing that they could have possibly done with this game. Apparently Nash heard about this project way back in 2022. If the remake has the scope of the one for Final Fantasy, Nash imagines that Nintendo might split it into two, which we have more on that, which is very, very interesting. Apparently that is a guess slash an idea. So if that is split into two different games, the first one would be for Child Link, and that would come out this year, and then the second game would be for the Adult Link, which would release later next year probably. Monolith Soft is involved with the game, which we have heard about before, and the announcement should be during this June Nintendo Direct with the release at the end of 2026. Hopefully that does mean that Nintendo Direct is coming. Like, without a doubt, if a Zelda game, even if it is a remake, it's still a complete, from the ground up remake, they gotta announce it in some sort of Nintendo Direct. That would just be the best idea. It's the most, eyes on the project. The most people will actually know that it exists, and that's fantastic. And also, I did make a video a few weeks ago talking about when they typically do Zelda announcements, and they always have done Zelda announcements at least like 99% of the time in the summertime. So a June Nintendo Direct with the announcement of it would make a lot of sense. That would line up with all the other big Zelda announcements pretty much overall, which is fantastic news because that Nintendo General Direct should also announce more than just Zelda. Like, they should announce potentially some other big games. I'm not sure about that 3D Mario game that we've been talking about forever, only because, I don't know, we have heard kind of mixed rumors about that, mixed leaks about if that game's coming out this year or next year. I always bring up the point of Pokemon Winds and Waves coming out next year, so that's obviously a huge title and a huge game. And gaming is expensive, Video games cost like 70, 80 bucks now, so let's say next year they do release the huge 3D Mario game and the huge, new Pokemon generation. There are going to be a lot of people that have to pick between one or the other because they can't buy both, because that's a lot of money, So with that being said, that's why my theory is they will still drop a Mario game this year, although that's just what I'm thinking. That's just like my theory and idea of when that 3D Mario game is going to come out. But nonetheless, a big Nintendo Direct will be huge. They haven't done one in a while for the Switch 2, so I feel like it's going to be more than just Zelda. Like, it has to be more than just a Zelda announcement as like the huge thing. It could potentially be the biggest announcement, but I just can't imagine them not announcing any other smaller games, or hey, even that new Star Fox game, because we have had a ton of rumors about 2 Star Fox games. Yes, 2. Apparently like one classic kind of style game and then one brand new game, like from the ground up, completely brand new storyline and everything. And let me say, honestly, if we get a new Zelda and a new Star Fox this year, or maybe even some next year, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna be awesome. I am ready for some more games on my Switch 2. I've been playing the heck out of Pokopia. I'm still really, really enjoying that game. I feel like I'm going to be eventually putting in thousands of hours into Pokopia over the next couple of years, because like, I cannot put this game down. But with that being said, I low-key do want another game to play, because if we did get a new Zelda game, I would definitely be taking a break from Pokopia, or obviously whatever other game I'm playing at the time. And then we have this other post basically talking about the exact same stuff with that podcast. Apparently also a new 2D Zelda is planned for 2027 to celebrate the franchise's 40th anniversary, which is very interesting because I swear Nintendo keeps on like giving these big franchises their celebration a year after their big, I guess, milestone, which is very weird. I don't know why that is. But hey, I mean, anything is better than nothing at the end of the day. Apparently, this project is already very advanced in development. Brezzo, the studio behind Echoes of Wisdom and the Link's Awakening remake. But the craziest part of it all is the main character wouldn't be Link or Zelda. It would be Ganondorf. The game would trace his history, his past, which sounds absolutely crazy. I'm here for that, honestly. A Ganondorf-focused game would be really, really interesting and kind of a crazy way to celebrate the 40th anniversary, but low-key would probably be pretty hyped up because of the fact that sure, Zelda is awesome. You know, how many games have we played with Zelda where pretty much the main character is always Link, which, you know, Link is the GOAT, nothing against Link. But if we are still going to be getting that Ocarina of Time remake and a new 2D Zelda game that literally is Ganondorf as the main focus, I'm here for that. I think that's very interesting. And yet another example of how Nintendo kind of steps out of the box a little bit. They're very creative, so I feel like whatever the game would potentially come out to be, it would be really fun. And 2D. I think fans are going to be a big fan of that 2D factor, especially with Zelda, of course. I know, like, you know, Pokemon fans definitely want some 2D games coming out. That's why I'm also still holding on to the fact that we could be getting a classic collection or some more classic Pokemon games dropping on the Switch and the Switch 2 this year, which I've talked so much about on the main channel, which if you do want to check out that main channel, it's Pokemon Focus. It's in the description. But anyways, and then in this article is just another kind of example or explanation of how this game could actually be split into 2 games. I feel like that would be interesting. If it is split into 2 games, it should hopefully be cheaper. Like, I would pay maybe $40 per game, maybe, but that's even pushing it because that means it would be $80 overall. This is kind of tricky though, because I don't know if fans would rather have like a DLC, but then that'd be weird because then they'd be paywalling, you know, literally the next part of the game. So of course the DLC wouldn't really make sense for them to split it into 2 separate games, but if they do split it into 2 games, like I said, I hope they don't charge like $60 or $70 per game just so we can play the next part. I don't know. But if this is the case, you know, if they do split into 2 parts, I think the most obvious thing they should do and the most, I guess, consumer friendly thing they should do is literally just split into 2 parts on the same cartridge to where, yeah, sure, we play the first part of the game, but then, you know, the second half of the game is also there. Just think about how Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, you know, we got that recently. It's 2 games in 1, if that makes sense. So I feel like that would be the best case to go, especially since fans would probably riot and go crazy if they were to split it and paywall it and stuff. Also, there is apparently a new Worms game in development. Several players have said to already played it behind closed doors, and according to the feedback, it's going to be the most fun and chaotic episode in the entire franchise. The codename is Project Arrakis, and it should release for Switch 2, PC, and console, and it may be announced this summer. So let me know if you guys are a Worms fan. I feel like I never hear anybody talk about Worms, but hey, I mean, that's pretty cool. Figured I'd let you guys know. I want to know from you guys though, what do you think about this Ocarina of Time, I guess, leak and slash rumor? I mean, it is coming from a pretty reputable source. Obviously, every source can't be 100% accurate all the time, but I hope they don't split it into 2 different games if we have to pay for both games, I guess. But it does seem like we will with certainty be getting a Zelda game or 2 because it just makes sense at the 40th anniversary. Of course, the movie's coming out very soon, which I'm super hyped for. I cannot wait to watch that. And if we got any other remake or like complete, you know, built from the ground up remake type of thing with Zelda, which Zelda game would you pick? We definitely have a handful of Zelda games over the last, you know, 40 years. It is 4 years old. That's crazy to me. But let me know though, you know, Minish Cap, it could be 4 Swords, whatever. Twilight Princess, I've heard a lot about as well. Let me know. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you are real and watching this far in the video, comment down below your favorite soda of all time. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Someone